Alright, it's knife time, in case you can't tell. This was a request by Mr. Mule. Some of you may know him if you read the comments. We're going to go through as quickly as I can what all we've got here. A number of them are save queens, and the majority are absolute users. So I will reposition the camera and we'll take one little section at a time. And no, you're not seeing things. That is a pair of scissors with a trick. We'll show you that. All right, let's go. Left or right? Let's start at the top. This right here is a K-bar. The K-bar that goes into this, and I'll show you that in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and slide that back in there. It's just a little skeleton knife that was thrown in. That is a K-bar, Taiwan-made K-bar, for those who are curious. All right, and then we look up here, we've got standard utility knives that use a standard utility blade. For example, this one, and the way that it opens, but standard utility blades. This one, along with the Craftsman, both reside out in the shop. They made an appearance here in the house just for the video. And that is a Gerber, and it will accommodate the thicker heavy-duty blades, but same thing, just a utility blade. Okay? They have different variations of this, but that's the Gerber, and it is a lockback. Nice and compact. I used to use this as a money clip all the time. Come down here is typical snap blades. There's the small versions right there where you just snap off to get a new edge. And then the big one. The small one resides out in the garage toolbox. This one resides in the kitchen junk drawer for package opening and whatnot. This one is made by Giaco over in Italy, and it's the most I've ever spent on a utility blade holder. Kind of silly, and it wasn't even really an impulse buy. It's exceedingly well designed, very, very, very well designed, to the point where each of these torque screws are length specific down to microns, believe it or not. Giaco is just one of those absolute perfectionists. This right here is a spot where you tune the blade so that you can flick it open, and you can tune it to your liking. This one stays in the middle drawer of my desk and gets grabbed most often, beyond the one that sits on my desk. All right, it's going to be long-winded because there are a lot of knives to cover. And for those of you wondering, I still have not gotten a call back, and I'm going to be calling them again this morning. And it is morning, quite early morning. This is a Swisstech utility key, and obviously it's in the shape of a key. You open it up, put it on your key ring, and it gives you a few tools. You have a screwdriver there. You also have a itty bitty little eyeglass screwdriver right there. A half serrated, half sharp edge, a Phillips head bit here, and a bottle opener. And this will open flat like that. Just a gadget that is actually pretty functional. Sitting right beside it, it's not necessarily a knife, but this is a titanium spike. It's pretty much self-explanatory, but it is in the realm of a cutting tool, so to speak, or a puncture tool, without getting morbid, being able to puncture something that you may not want around you. When we come up on the top here, we have 4 Spydercos. These are the Bug series. This is the kiwi, one's a grasshopper, one's a ladybug, and I don't remember what the last one is, but these are Spyderco's tiniest knives. Itty, itty, bitty. And I used to carry this one on a keychain and this one in the bottom of my pocket. But if you look right here, it's got jimping on it. They did not come with jimping. I did the jimping myself. I thought they needed it. And this one has typical Warncliffe blade. And why they called it the kiwi, I don't know. They did. To me, it looks like a PT boat from the Navy. All right. As we move along, we will take our gander up this way just a little bit. Let's see here. Let's pan that up just a hair. Oh, yeah. Just another utility knife. This one's interesting. I don't like it too much. I mean, it's got a great angle for doing your cutting, but the blade has always been difficult to deploy. And this one works rather uniquely. You loosen that up as far as it'll loosen. See how it raises up? And then, if you follow that arrow there, it splits open. Begrudgingly, but it does split open. Come on. Get it, get it, get it. Get it, get it, get it, get it. Maybe the blade has to be back. See what I mean? It's just fidget. It's too fidgety. There we go. Okay. And then as you pull it back, it exposes the blades for you to change. And it also raises the utility blade so that you can get a hold of it more readily. But like I say, it's just kind of fidgety. And you don't want this right here very tight, because if you waylay down on it, it locks the blade. So that's also a nice safety feature, is it allows you to lock the blade in the extended position. Okay, and we'll come down one. This was made for me by my good buddy Sawbones, who was previously Heliarch on YouTube, and he did it in a traditional Japanese style, did a beautiful job of it. And this is just kind of his signature 302, because he's nuts. It's a double bevel. You see, bevel, bevel. And he did a very, very nice job on it. And this is actually for cooking. It's a cooking knife. But after he finished it, he realized, oh, wow, Zippo, you're left-handed. But it's okay. I'm ambidextrous. I can use it. And it's real good for skinning and stuff like that. But what is this steel? Well, this steel is tough. When I say tough, I mean it's tough enough to whack every single blade of grass in your yard. That should give you a hint. Yes, it was made out of a mower deck blade, but not just any mower deck blade, a Simplicity mower deck blade. So a lot of thought, a lot of love, a lot of heart went into that. So my friend, I thank you very, very much. Excuse me. Now we'll move on down the line. Let's see. We'll go back here. And this is only about 90% of my knives, what I could round up. But this is kind of a kukri, I guess. But it's a short machete, and it's very good for batoning. Not the least bit worried about hurting it, because, well, it's that stupid Bear Grylls lion thing. So, and there's another Bear Grylls knife in here too that we'll get to. Right here we have a Booker Plus, and this one is all titanium. And I'm sorry, I think it's called the SOCOM or Subcom, something like that. Oh, my doggy just came in, wearing her coat. Hello, little girl. She's like, nope. You can flick it, but it's fidgety because it's so small. plus my hands. But anyway, titanium scales, titanium clip. And let's scoot through a good portion of these. Then we'll get down to this bottom row here, which are more or less the safe queens. So hang on, let me move the camera. All right, we're right beside the Boker SOCOM, which is right here. We have a wide variety of Swiss Army knives. Everybody's got Swiss Army knives. It's just kind of a give-in. And this Swisstech pair of nail clippers is here because, yes, it does have a knife. Right there. So, it's still a knife. That's a knife. Nope. But Swisstech, it's even got a little flashlight. Let's see here. I don't even know if the battery's any good anymore. Yep. Still good. But nail clippers. These are nail clippers also. All of the Swiss Army knives are Victorinox with the exception of this one, which is Wenger. And this one also sports nail clippers. And this is the pair that I use most often. And it too has a knife. So there you go. Now we have a Boker. It's the Boker Prince. It's a traditional lockback single blade. I love the elegance of this. It's a traditional pocket knife. And we come down to the next one. And that next one, this is a Serrated USA LB1. This was their smallest lockback offering. And I purchased this when I was 14 years old. Let me put that into perspective. That was 41 years ago. And I still have it. And it's obviously not sporting its original edge. Or its original edge. But this was the very first knife I ever actually purchased on my own. You can see how minuscule it is. And it was while I was working at a catalog showroom. And the reason I got it was for opening boxes. I didn't want to be normal using a box cutter. Then we've got some case knives above that, or beside that, that go up to here. These are mainly safe queens. These two are safe queens. These, they all stay in the wrap. And I don't use many of them. One that I have used in the past just for cleaning underneath my fingernails because it has this nice toothpick blade is this one right here, which has red jig bone scales. And we come over, we have USA made Serrated old timer. Then we have an off-brand, and the off-brand is Cut Master. I call it off-brand just because it's not as well known as most. And it's in a really nice original shape. And the odd thing about this is the blades are identical. They're the exact same blade. So take your pick. Pick either one you want. It's going to be the same. Just kind of strange. Beside that, we have an Imperial, and this one was sent to me, I believe, by Dave. Very, very nice. It is in the traditional form of a case trapper. And beside that, this one was sent to me from England, and this is buffalo horn. The scales are buffalo horn, and it is a real lamb's foot, according to what the blade says, real lamb foot. And it is A. Wright and Sons from Sheffield, England. And it is also a safe queen. And if I can find it, where's it at? It's in the roll. He actually took a leather-bound book and cut the spine off the book. I got to show that to you because that's really nice. And he stitched me up a holster for it. And you can see these ribs here from the book. Very, very old book. And as you can see, really, really thick leather. But it fits very nicely down in there. And this is the side that you put it in. And it goes in thusly. So, very, very nice. I like it. All right, and we are just about over to the multi-tools, which we're not going to do yet. So we'll come back down here. I don't remember what this one is. Is it a Frost? I think it's a Frost. My eyes are not, yeah, it's Frost Cutlery. Reminiscent of a case. And we have two K-bars. We have the Olight Splint and Drever. The Drever was their first release. These are made by Kaiser. And they've just stepped their game up, and they're using some nicer steel than the N690. But these things are just, see that drop? Oh, they're great. They do ride on bearings. Very, very nice. And in between, we have my daily carry. It is always in my pocket. And the reason I don't carry either one of these two is because I can't reverse the blade, the pocket clip, and I wear on my left side. So I do not like a knife where the blade can open like that. I prefer to have the knife in my pocket like this, so that if the blade opens, it goes against the edge of my pocket and will more than likely close back up. I've never had an accident using this one because I did reverse the pocket clip so that this sits to the left when I have it in my pocket. Reversible. And you can't reverse it. I can't even go through and drill on this side to mount the pocket clip because the liners are skeletonized and there's a really big hole right here where that would need to go. And that's the case on both the Splint and the Drever. There are two new knives out. There's the Beagle, and I don't remember the name of the other one. But there's two more on their flash sale right now, which you guys will be privy to a video coming out this Thursday. So we've got the two K-bars, we've got the two Olights, we've got the Benchmade. This is the mini bug out, and then right over here is the full-size bug out. And I switched the thumb studs and the back spacers to orange. These orange ones were in the orange mini bug out, so I just switched them. Just nifty. I like doing stuff like that. Then we come right here. This is another Boker, and it is a, what some would consider a switchblade or automatic. Push that button and she opens right up. Very, very snappy. It's a Vox design, and it is AUS 8 steel. And to close it, you just press the button again. Allows you to close it. But that spring is no joke, as you can see. I only need to just partially, and it just flies open. Don't recall the name of it, but it wasn't very expensive at all. It's California legal. It's 1.9-inch blade. Moving on along, this is an old Benchmade. When I say old, I'm talking, 15 or so years ago. And this is called the Benchmade Nagara. It has titanium scales, and it is a flipper. See if I can do it again. There we go. It's a flipper. It's on phosphor bronze bushings. And this has a knack lock on it, which essentially is a liner lock, but it's a liner lock with a little button that you can push to close it. Coming right next to it, traditional Benchmade lockback with FRN scales. It is a USA made, number 285. I won this in a contest online, and I don't recall who from, so I apologize for that. But this one gets used fairly regularly. Holds a really good edge, and I'm not worried about beating it up. All right, what else have we got? We talked about the Benchmade. I think these are, well, I'll just look. S30V, yeah. They're, both of the Benchmade bug outs are S30V. I don't recall the steel on the Benchmade Nagara. Come right next to it. This is the Kershaw Oh So Sweet with assisted opening and a back flipper. There you go. It is a liner lock, as you can see. Ding, ding, ding. And I don't gravitate towards these mainly because I'm left-handed. Like the Drever and the Splint, they are also liner locks. Now this one has 2 opening options. I'm sorry, I'm flipping back and forth. You have your thumb stud, and then you also have flipper on the back. And then the Splint has 3 opening options. You have the nail neck, which I can't do. I just don't have the dexterity. And then it has a front flip right there. You see the jimping and the extension. And then the back flipper. All right, let's keep on moving down. Oh, let me move the camera, then we'll move down. Hang on. We'll just spin it like this. Don't let that angle fool you. Don't get dizzy, don't fall off. All right, we covered the Oh So Sweet. That was another win from a YouTube contest from Jeff. Then we have the Sog Slimgen. This is the short one. Really, really neat. Most Sogs have a lock. This is an assist, and it is only thumb stud, but look how skinny that sucker is. There you go. This one resides in my bug out bag just because it's very lightweight and very thin, and it's a knife that I'm not worried about doing a little bit of damage to. And it is a ambidextrous with a spine lock. When we come up next to it, it's another SOG. This is the Twitch XL, which is the largest in the series. There are 3 in total in the series of the Sog Twitch. It too has a lock. The lock is right there. You do that. You cannot open it with the thumb stud or the back flipper. You have to move that back. And then it is spring assist and spine lock right there. I used to carry this one religiously all the time, but it's got some heft to it. You got to figure you've got 7 laminations there of steel, or 5 laminations of steel and then aluminum scales. It's got some heft to it. We'll move on down. We have the SOG, I believe it's a Trident. Yes, this is the SOG Trident. Here is the lock for it right here, as you can see. Yep, that unlocked it. It has a integrated seat belt and twine cutter using the actual blade. But you'll notice something a little different about this one. It's got a blue blade. Let's go ahead and open it. It is thumb stud only. Again, assisted opening. It also has a gold edge. I found this on eBay, and I was wanting one of these are called the monograms, and it has arc lock technology there. And it's not bad with the left hand, so I'm not mad at it. It's not like the Benchmade that has the ambidextrous on either side. But you just simply slide back and then you can close it. It's an easy one-handed knife. The reason that I got it, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it or not, we'll try to get it in there, is that my signature favorite number over the course of most of my life has been 777, and this one popped up with a certificate but no box, unused, serial number 777 of 1000. So, and they have a new Trident out now, so I've seen the values on these climbing up. Then we get down to the controversial Quartermaster and G&G Hawk collab, and this one is akin to the external toggle, which we'll look at next, but there are so many different ways to open and close this knife. Fidget factor squared. It supposedly was USA made. There was a lot of controversy over that. The serial number 123 of 300. And what's funny is I have a Olight flashlight that is also serial number 123. It's just kind of weird. Oh, wait. No. I believe that's the driver. Is that the driver? Yeah, it's a driver. Serial number 1234. Okay. So, you've got that. And I would have named it like some kind of a, like the pointer, because when you set this thing down on the table just like this with it open, it looks like a dog pointing. It's just, you know, there's its eye, there's no, it just looked like a dog pointing. So, you got to be really careful with these. If you go to close, the jimping goes up way too far. It should stop back here just to give you a warning. But I gotta do this really slow so I don't slice my finger. As you can see, it landed right on my thumb. I've seen people actually just slice their thumbs with it. And this one also has a backflip. But be really careful. All these edges here are relatively sharp. The edge has been broken, but yeah, you can't just hold it and flip it, because if you do, your hand's going to get in the way of the mechanism and you've got a lot of pinch points. That's enough of that. Let's move on over to the Kershaw Et. You guys might remember this one. This was the one that was gone for 9 years, and I managed to get it back. And also, it is in the traditional snap-on red, although not traditional, but as you can see, snap-on. It is used. I gave it to one of my daughter's boyfriends and told him, use it. There's a number of ways to open this one as well, including and it has carabiner for carrying, and he used to carry it a lot on his tool belt. He's a union plumber. The pocket clip is reversible. You can switch everything around, put it on the other side. But he was gracious enough to permit me to get it back. April of 2007 is when this one was made. So, and like I say, I'm out of practice. You can pinch the pivot, and the super cool fidget factor on these things. Really like them. All right, let me stop the camera. Move, reposition. No, I don't need to reposition. You guys just stay still. Don't get motion sickness here. I'll just move on down. And we've just got 3 more down here to look at and talk about. These are Microtechs. These in particular are the Microtech Ultratechs. This one is the Ultratech. Oh, I just had a brain freeze. UTX 85. Let's see if I'm right. Yes, UTX 85. TE, that just stands for Tonto. USA made. This one is serial, or wait. 204P. Is that the steel? I don't recall. But anyway, these are out the front, double action out the front knives. Found this one when I went to Nashville on a vacation, and didn't care that it was this magenta color. I just absolutely had to have a Microtech, and that was store bought. And then they came out with the UTX 70. The UTX 70, obviously, itty bitty. Where those numbers come from is you have the UTX, then you have the UTX 85, which is 85% of the size of the standard. This one is 70% the size of the standard. But this one is a standard drop point. And these things are, again, you got the fidget factor there too. But I can't, they're safe queens. I don't operate them very much. Now we come here and we have my beloved Chris Reeve small Sabenza with an Ensingo blade. I really love this style of blade. It's quite reminiscent of the Drever. It just has a nice swooping belly. These are very good to, the edge retention is just fantastic on them. And they're a great general purpose knife. Oftentimes this one will reside on the desk for package and mail opening. Mom, get up. Really? I must need to clean it. And then I put my own lanyard on. It does come with a black one. I decided, you know, dude, it's Zippo. It's got to be orange. But you guys might notice it's a frame lock, all right? But it's backwards. Well, how is it backwards? And the thumb stud's only on one side. It's only on the side that you can use it with your left hand. That's because this is a left hand specific knife. That's the one thing I love about Chris Reeve knives and a couple of other manufacturers. Microtech does it also, is making left hand dedicated knives. And it definitely needs clean. Yeah, the drop is usually more robust than that. You can see it just kind of stops. But I've had this knife for 12 years. Almost 12 years. Love that knife. All right, now it's time to get on to some of the others. So I got to reposition the camera again, so hang on. And we're kind of getting down to the nitty gritty. But I want to thank Bruce very, very much for sending me a couple of decals and his business card. So thank you, thank you, thank you, my friend. All right, let's go a little bit deeper. I told you about the K-bar back here. I use this one primarily. I mean, it's made for going through the bush, but this thing is some seriously thick. Here, we need to do something with that because it's, there we go.
I'm not sure I understand.
Well, Siri, that's because I'm not talking to you. Silly watch. Really, really thick. Very good to baton. Has a little bit of what you would call a pickerel hook on the end. The end is also sharpened. And what I use this for is basically splitting part of the zombie apocalypse line. And it has a hook here so that it's hard to lose your grip on it when it's slippery and bloodied up from killing zombies. Of course, this was a release near the beginning of The Walking Dead. And I have a couple more that you would expect to see in post-pandemic. But anyway, I use this to split kindling. You can see right here, and I baton it in order to do that. And you already saw the little knife that it came with. And in addition to the black scales, you also have that zombie apocalypse green, which I don't like using because I don't want to dirty them up. There's that. And we already, and this probably isn't a kukri, I don't remember. We have an SOG. This SOG is called Spirit. And depending on your state, it will either be a single sharp edge, like this one, where it's sharp at the top, but it's essentially a spear. But what is really neat about it, and here comes the second zombie apocalypse, and this one was made by me. This handle comes off, and it's a standard broom handle thread, which lends this the ability to be mounted to a long shaft, so you can throw it like a spear. But right up there out of view, we've got a little something that I made. Let's see. How long ago? Well, probably 9 years ago, I'm guessing. And that is my version of a zombie slaying tool. See this finger grips. Did the gradient blue into black. And as you come down, you can see that this has been flattened on 3 sides. Carefully flattened on 3 sides. Give me just a second, guys. Hang on. I gotta resituate here. And get a drink of my beverage. All right, you saw that I took the handle off, and that permits me to put that on like a broom handle or something like that. I decided to make my own, as I said, and it's flat on 3 sides, 2 and 3. So now let me go ahead and assemble the Spirit, SOG Spirit, onto what I made. You ready? Let's start this way again. And it was a shovel handle. So I did all this little bit of machining on it. Bring it on down. Bring it on down. And we have 3 serrated sickle bar knives mounted to it for swinging at zombies. And then I had a broken handle, metal handle with this plastic insert for the threads. And I took, and the screw's probably 3 inches long, that goes into the end just with a washer. And then I countersunk the base and installed a means to thread that on there. So, like I say, this was made 9, possibly 10 years ago. I think it was about 9 years ago. But we'll get it back a little ways. I've often thought about just going ahead and sharpening that whole end there. So I hope I don't run out of battery before I'm done. And yeah, this is going to be a long one. So, if you're still with me, cool. You get to see the zombie slayers. So there we go. That's my own rendition of a zombie slaying tool. And come on. Oh, it won't go in. That's okay. We will get to the last of what would be considered a zombie slayer. And this one was kind of a joke, and it is definitely a novelty. All right, we're going to start here. So it kind of looks like a machete. Speaking of machetes, there are a few machetes missing in action that are still out and about on the property. But we get up there, and then we've got a handle. A snap holds it in place. And we come down more, And what is that weird looking thing? Almost looks like the kind of grip you'd have on a set of crutches or a metal detector. Well, that is so that you can put your hand in and come down and grab the handle. Having a hard time getting my hand in there, or my arm in there. So, there. Now I'm going to pull the sheath off. And I do that every time I've got it upside down, so I'm switching my grip. All right, ready? So that you're going to hang on to it right there. And as you go, you have serrations, and then you have this sharpened area, then it steps up, and then you have this sharpened area. To get a full perspective of this thing, I don't even know if the whole thing will fit in the camera, but it might. But it's ridiculous. And just fun. You know, it's one of those weird things. So, all right. And I just had one comment that was a very good suggestion, which is what enabled me to go ahead and make this video. Even though my hands are hurting more now than when I started, this is not really taxing my hands anywhere near how they would be taxed if I was out working in the shop. So I mentioned I've got a pair of scissors here. These are Fiskars. You can see right there, Fiskars. But why are they here? Well, these are utility shears. Bottle opener. And you see this little crosshatch thing here? It's kind of strange looking, isn't it? Well, there's a reason for it. You want to see? Here's the part number in case you want to know. It's EA0511. I've had these for a number of years. These reside in my desk. They do have a safety here so that you can cut clothes off quickly if you get injured. But let's flip it back over. And it's got a keyway. You turn it until you get to a keyway and they separate. This is also actually a quite sharp knife. Isn't that cool? All right, we have got to hurry because my battery is below 20%. Got to get a move on. All right, hang on. I'm going to move you guys with me. We're going to get into the fixed blades here. All right, real quick, Boca Rhino. Look it up, check it out. It's available in a number of different handle styles. This just happens to be the carbon fiber, or excuse me, FRN. Boca Rhino. We'll get the other Boca that's here. That would be the Boca Gnome, G-N-O-M-E, Boca Gnome. And it is itty bitty. And typically I have a piece of lanyard on the end of it so that I can put more than a finger and a partial on that. But neck knife, wicked sharp. I don't remember the steel. 12C27 steel. I believe the Rhino is the same. We have another SOG. This SOG is the SOG Snarl. Okay. Warncliffe style blade. 2-finger. Just interesting. Yeah, just interesting. Then we have the Crkt Fultz Minimalist. This was the first release, so this is the one with the micarta scales that I sanded and smoothed. Has the finger choils, and it is a Warncliffe. Again, silly sharp. Nice for using like a scalpel. Then we have the only cold steel in the collection. I do have a cold steel cane, but this is also the early release of the Spike line. This one did have a nylon wrap on it, similar to a Pool Sticks linen wrap. I'll show you real quick. Find one. There we go. Okay. This is like a linen wrap, so it's real fine thread, and that's what that handle was wrapped with. I took it off and polished it. It doesn't make it very practical because it can slip in your hand, but this is also the knife that has the thickest spine on it, so you can see how thick the material is. That's how thick the spine is. Right there. See? And believe it or not, even as thick as that spine is, it's wicked sharp. All right. This is a utility knife, and the blade does come all the way back here. Has a stop screw, and leather workers use this, and wood whittlers use these. And I mainly use it for a pry bar, believe it or not, because it's a nice, good, thick, sturdy steel. I've had that for a number of years. Down to 14%. Come on, Zippo, keep moving. This is a zipper pull, and it is a itty bitty, teeny tiny little frame lock knife. It came in a package of 5 different tools from Guidesman. But itty bitty, just about impractical, but if you need something sharp, there it is. All right, what else we got to go to? All right, we're going to go down here to the CRKT. Let me move you down a little bit more again. Ah, my battery, 13%. CRKT, A.G. Russell Sting. This was their rendition. It is a single piece of steel, and it's super, super tough steel. And it's a dagger style boot type. There we go. And I brought some others down. Here's another boot knife. This is a Colt, just a cheap generic, down to 12%. I'm sorry, my battery's going to die on me. This again is another type of boot knife, and I engraved ZV, my Zippo Varga initials in it. Come up here is just an Ozark Trail, just a beater knife, and this stays in one of the toolboxes in one of the trucks for when I'm needing to cut fuel line or something like that. This is a case, a vintage case. It is number 315-4, and I believe 1/4 or 3/4. Don't remember. Well loved, well used, but still in really nice shape. This one stays in my dresser upstairs, oddly enough, because I have my snacks, and a lot of times I need a knife to open my snacks. This one's Solingen, Germany, I believe. Yes, it's a Bauer Imperial Company. F.A. Bauer from Solingen, Germany. This was my brother's, and it stays in the toolbox out in the garage. This is another toolbox knife. It is a knife made in El Salvador, and it is the Condor, and it's a high carbon steel, not stainless, so it does have staining, but it's like a bushcraft knife. It has a really nice thick heavy leather holster. That resides in the toolbox in Ruby. I already showed you that. Then, you know, everyone's got to have their buck fixed blade, right? Well, right there is mine. It's the USA Buck 119. Can't beat it for a hunting knife. Absolutely fantastic. I got to really, really hurry. And just a Gerber beater. It's another spare toolbox knife. This one goes on the trailer, in the toolbox in the trailer. And now we're going to pan up to the kitchen knives. The kitchen knives, they're still knives, right? So let's take a look at those. I like Japanese steel really well, and so I picked up a few, and I love to cook too, so I have 2 Sedge knives, and they are 63 layer. You can see this is the very, very hard steel, and then they are Damascus, 63 layer Damascus. Real nice rosewood handles. Very, very nice. Very, very nice knives. My beater knives that stay in here, another utility. This is just a Chicago cutlery. And then his brother, little cleaver-ish type, which is right there. These are when I think I'm going to run the risk of damaging an edge. And here's a larger. And this one is a Farberware Pro. Come over here, there's a story about that one that I don't have time to tell, but basically I made this knife for my mother so that she could use it as a tool instead of my knives, because she destroyed one of my Wusthof chef's knives by breaking the tip clean off. So I made her this one. And did she manage to break it as well? She did. The blade came out of the handle and I had to reset it. So there's that. That's just a knife sharpener. This is my go-to butter knife. Not sharp anywhere. And then we come up here, and I use this one mainly for processing my meat or doing finite vegetable cuttings. Okay, you guys may have seen my reflection. You can see my bald head there. This one is also Damascus steel. And then we come to my Dalstrong, and my Dalstrong is also, all of these Damascus are Japanese steel, but the knives are made in China. But you can see the defined edge right there. I just about cut myself. This thing is wicked, wicked sharp. That's it. I'm down to 4% battery. I absolutely have to cut it off now. Thank all of you guys for hanging in there with me and for taking a look at my knife collection. I'm glad I was able to present it for you. I did not go over the multi-tools. Dang it, 4%. All right, there are knives on each one of these. We have the Leatherman Skeletool. We have a Victorinox. We have a Leatherman Super Tool. We have a Gerber Flick, and then a Gerber arm bar. If you want to know anything about those, you can look them up online. They all have knives in them. That's why they're here. Promise you guys, I will see you on the next one. 2% battery. I love each and every one of you. Later. I'm out of here.